Good evening. It is 6 o'clock, Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting of the Montgomery City Council into session at this time. We're grateful for those that weathered the storm and got here, and thankful also for those who are tuning in from the outside. We thank you for taking an interest in our city. We'd like to ask that you turn off any electronic devices, your phone, to avoid any interruptions to our proceedings this evening. We do have a full quorum. All council members are here and staff. And so with that, I'd like to invite you to stand for the invocation and the pledge to the flags. Mr. Stan Donaldson.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for another opportunity to serve the city of Montgomery. We thank you, Lord, that you give us wisdom and knowledge, Father, to do what's right and just and fair. And we thank you, Father, that we believe that this city has momentum going forward. We have a lot of opportunities, Father, to expand our growth and, bring more people into this community where they can enjoy the benefits of the old town atmosphere, Father, and everything else that we hope we can bring forth in the future. Thank you for this day and help us, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Salute to the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Under the visitor citizens forum, I did not receive any items there to speak on, so we'll go into the consent agenda. Item 1, consideration of possible action regarding an escrow agreement by and between the City of Montgomery, Texas and Morning Cloud Investments and Solid Bridge Construction for an 86.45-acre single-family resident development number 2403, and authorizing the city engineer to prepare a feasibility study. Item 2 is quarterly investment report for quarter 4, 2023. Item 3 is approval of the following minutes. A, City Council meeting minutes from 12/12/23, and B, City Council and Board of Adjustment meeting minutes 1/9/2024. What is the council's pleasure? Shall we take these individually or all together?
Individually. I have some individual questions.
Okay, and what item?
Okay, so for item number 3, approval of the following minutes. On 3B, the council and board of adjustment meeting minutes, January 9th, 2024. Number 1, there was item number 11 regarding the curfew that the chief brought to us. And I made a motion, and Stan made a motion, and I approved. If you look at the minutes, there's 2 motions on there, and the motion, it says Sarah approved the ordinance of the budget amendment, and Cheryl Fox seconded it. That's not, yeah, so it's not correct.
I can correct that.
And then also in that meeting, we had a discussion around 380 agreements. Again, I think it's important to have those in our packet so we know what's in those agreements. And I went to our website to see what they are, because by the state of Texas, you must have the agreements 14 days on your website after executed. So it would be helpful to get those up there. I did find out that Mr. Lefebvre had 2 of them, one in 2007, that's now milestones, rolled it over, and in 2011, for his utility extension that was to be paid with property taxes up to $148,000, and he said he's still waiting for you, Dave, to give him to calculate what he actually is owed. And secondly, you have the Kroger agreement. So the Sherman-Williams was in here, and we talked about the 380 for Sherman-Williams, which is not the Kroger agreement, but the CVS, the South Side. And it opened February 2019, and it's a 10-year agreement, or $1 million. So we have 5 years left. We're halfway through, if I'm reading that correctly.
for the CVS, but the Sherwin-Williams goes underneath the shops.
That is the shops. That is all the shops
whole thing.
agreement, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and I saw a map that confirmed that as well. Yeah, it was into the shops. So we're halfway through that agreement.
Okay.
So I wanted to give insight on that because we didn't have that for the meeting. And hopefully they'll be captured in this one.
So clarification, that all falls under item 3B.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, a little clarification, can we pass the rest and then, or just pass 3B first and then the rest under consent, or how would we do that?
Either or.
So let's do 3B with these acknowledgements, would we call them, and corrections?
I will make the corrections that Councilmember Countryman has pointed out.
Okay, so we need a motion with the corrections for 3B.
So then do we table that one and wait for them to come back?
So would
Okay,
that,
so
No, we didn't
at this
approve it.
point, I mean, the attorney
You can approve as amended. So we can approve now and then Nikki can make the changes.
with the changes and corrections? So you want to voice that in the form of a motion?
I would like to approve the consent agenda as presented outside of item 3B, City Council and Board of Adjustment meeting minutes 1/9/2024 regarding item number 11. With those two motions listed on there and the correct motion be
Just as amended.
amended, and then the 380 agreement information.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole, with exception to letter number 3, letter B, with acknowledging those as stated to be corrected. That's the motion. Do I have a second?
I see.
Second.
I'll take Casey's as a second. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving consent agenda with those stipulations, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no, and we will approve consent agenda with those exceptions as stated. Item 4, consideration and possible action regarding ending the one-year warranty period and release of the maintenance bond for the Klepper sidewalks from Prairie Street to Fernland Historical Park project tabled at the 1/9/24 meeting.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we discussed this last time at your last council meeting. I believe it was tabled to provide some additional information, which has since been provided to y'all. Construction photos, testing reports from the concrete, verifying that it all passed specifications for strength. In light of that, one question that did come up was about the material that's used to seal the cracks and its expected lifespan. We reached out to the contractor to find exactly the material that they used. It's expected at minimum to be about 3 to 5 years, but it could go much longer, just depending on wear and tear and how it goes. As far as maintenance cost for that, a gallon of the sealant is about $100 at Home Depot, and you apply very easily, or a tube is $17 and is applied to the wall. That's a very low maintenance cost, expected every 3 to 5 years at the soonest.
Okay. All right, this was discussed in last night's workshop. Any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept item number 4 as presented. I second.
Motion by Sarah, second by Cheryl. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving the warranty as stated in item 4, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve item 4 as stated. Item 5, consideration and possible action on amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Montgomery, Texas, Ordinance Chapter 62 offenses, to add a new Article 4, adopting regulations related to sex offender residency restrictions within the corporate limits of the city, defining criminal offenses, providing for affirmative defenses, providing for severability, providing for a criminal penalty, providing for a repealing clause, and providing for an effective date. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're here today to get you to adopt the regulations on the new sex offender ordinance. Some of the things are included, which you'll see that other cities have. Some of the things we added. What you'll see is the application for exemption. That application for exemption, with any new sex offender that's coming into the city, they'll have to come in, they'll have to fill out this application. That application goes through a process, and what we'll do is to make sure that process is the right process. We look at their intent and the severity of their offense, and then we approve it on that. We have a committee that approved that. I then can deny it after taking a look after that. Some of the other things we put in was for some of the distance from child safety zones, 1,000 feet from child safety zones if you're living there. We'll also take the offenders who are now here in the city. We'll bring them back in, and they'll have to fill out this application as well. We won't have those people move, but this gives us something to know exactly where they are, and they understand what the new sex offender laws are. Also, we put in here during the course of something like Halloween, sex offender can't have your porch lights on. You can't participate in those events because that's the time when kids are out. And any of these other locations where kids are, there's a 500-foot safety zone, and so we actually adopt this section.
So I have a question. So you said, and I'm sorry I missed this, you said that they fill out an application, and if you deny it, what do you deny?
We're denying, it's an application exemption.
Okay, oh, to be exempt, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's
Okay,
an exemption.
thank you. I heard it, but I didn't process it.
What would be some of the exemptions?
Ma'am?
What would be an exemption
An
from sex
exemption, like we talked about, would have to be looking at the type of, the severity of that, of the offense, looking at how that offense, what the intent was with that offense. We'll look at those things, we'll look at the criminal history, and we'll go back to the background. Then we'll see where they're living at, who they're living with, and do a background on those folks as well.
Okay.
Question, do we have any now on our rolls in this city?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so then if they volunteer, say at a school here or a church here, how do we prevent that? Or do we have any onus on that?
And that's what this new ordinance will do. It will prevent them from volunteering any events for children, any events in schools. What we'll do is we'll bring them in, and that's when we'll go back over this application of exemption.
But how would the school know, or how would the church know, or how would they?
School or the church probably won't know unless they're doing some type of criminal background. But if that comes up, then we'll know who these offenders are.
Do most of the churches do a background investigation?
Yes, they have to.
Oh, yes.
I
We
thought
do.
all churches did a background if you interacted with children.
You would think so, but
Doesn't I know a church that.
Doesn't always have.
Sometimes they don't, but they should. With that said, part of it is what kind of background check. You pick up the phone and ask Johnny, or do you get into the FBI? Because then you deal with alternative identities, people who slip through the cracks.
Why's Carol laughing?
Personally, I would like to see, our city be able to tie into civic organizations in whatever way and advise them of that. Because you can do a real shallow one and you can't find anything.
Well, any churches or schools in this area, they have access to us, and we'll always, if it's a sex offender, registered sex offender here, then yes, we can get that information.
Okay?
Any other questions? It's very neat.
Any other? If not, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept item 5 as presented.
Second.
I'll take Carol's as a second. Motion by Casey, second by Carol. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. All in favor of approving item 5 as stated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. We will approve item 5 as stated. Thank you, Chief. Item 6, consideration of possible action on appointments to the MEDC Board of Directors.
Mayor and Council, as the agenda item states, now it's time to appoint MEDC directors. Just a reminder, those positions are every 2 years, like other boards and commissions and council. One of the members that's currently serving, Wade Nelson, has expressed interest in serving another term. Staff recommends to reappoint him. So Mayor Sanford is stepping down from the EDC, which leaves one member of the governing body. I think that's according to the bylaws. 2 members from the governing body serve on the EDC. Right now, Ms. Carroll, she still serves, so one of the other council members will need to accept nomination and service on the EDC. For the third applicant, right now we are opening back up a call for applications, reaching back out to some of the applicants, and as well as talking to one new. So we'll be bringing that back to you for a list of appointments with the recommendations for a future meeting.
Okay. Do we have any council members? Spunky?
I mean, if nobody else will do it, I'll do it. I mean, I'll find time in my time. Schedule.
Just one a month?
Just one month?
Yeah.
Third Monday?
Yeah.
You okay with it?
You gonna do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone want to nominate him? Is that how?
I nominate Casey Olson.
Casey has been nominated by Cheryl. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carol. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. So we,
You can include a separate motion, or you can include the reappointment.
since we're already rolling on this hill, let's go with item 2, replacing me, since we're on the council.
Sure.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right, and so we have a motion and a second. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of Casey filling the spot that I vacated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we'll approve number 2. And so number 1 is to reappoint Wade Nelson. Do we have a motion there?
I make a motion to reappoint Wade Nelson to the MEDC board.
I second that.
Second is by Cheryl. Again, motion debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving Wade Nelson to reserve on the MEDC, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve as stated. Thank you, Dave. All right, item 7, consideration and possible action on award and execution of the construction contract for State Highway 105 and Buffalo Springs Drive traffic signal project.
Good evening again. This is the signal for at the intersection of Buffalo Springs and State Highway 105. We received bids last week. We did receive 3 bidders in our office, and the bid summary is included with our recommendation of award. At this time, we are recommending a contract be awarded to Traftex Inc. For their low base bid proposal of $409,227.12 in 150 calendar days. The budget, the amount is in line with the original expected budget for the project. And the calendar days gives them enough time to finish the project before the agreement deadline with Home Depot. So as a reminder, this is being fully funded by Home Depot, and the contract will not be executed until funds are received in hand.
And actually, that number is significantly below what we projected, wasn't it?
No, it's
I thought it's
actually
higher.
over. It's much higher. So that's my question. Why is this stoplight so much more expensive than the stoplight less than 2 miles away from it?
We had originally expected, our estimate was $350,000 with a 20% contingency, which puts it around $420,000. The contingency just being the unknown in any changes in construction costs. This is $409,000 for a full signal.
Right. So when I talked to you, Chris, about this, when we were making the deal with Home Depot, we used the numbers off the stoplight. It's literally less than 2 miles away, and it's significantly lower than this.
The county one?
Yeah.
That was a while back,
I
though.
remember the 350 was what we were using based on information provided by the for the signal and their historical prices. As to why it's more expensive, it's TxDOT. So their control systems, their specifications, what they require is different than counties and others, which would be in line with price.
Okay. And this includes none of your engineering costs?
Correct.
Yeah.
And all the design was done by TxDOT.
Gotcha.
So on our involvement, we put together a big package and bid it out, and coordinate with TxDOT. And Home Depot has also reviewed bids and already agreed.
Okay.
Where is this company out of?
Conroe.
They are, I believe they are local.
Conroe, 2704 Hannah Road.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to award the Buffalo Springs and 105 traffic light to is it Traftex? Is that right? Traftex.
Express.
In the amount of $409,227.12 with 150 days to achieve final completion.
Motion by Casey, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item 7 as stated, say yes.
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 Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve item 7 as stated. Item 8, consideration of possible action regarding award and execution of the construction contract for lift station number 10, Force Main Improvement Project.
So this project, as a reminder, is to serve the Pulte development, Montgomery Bend. We received 7 bids in at City Hall on January 10th. The low base bidder was submitted by Faith Utilities in the amount of $427,904 in 120 calendar days. As a reminder, this is also to be fully funded by Pulte, and contracts, again, would not be executed until funds are in hand. The results of the bids have been provided to Pulte. We have not received any objections at this time. And so what this project is, just to remind you, takes the upsizes the force main coming from lift station 10 and discharges along the Star Parkway.
I have a question. We have a committee, the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee, that was formed in 2016. Did they do everything with us with water and sewer? Did we use them, or have we met with them?
The
To kind
Capital
of go through
Improvement
this.
Advisory Committee, really their sole purpose is for impact fees, updating the impact fees. That committee has now reconvened as the Planning and Zoning Commission, serving as the CIAC. So no, they were not contacted for this project, nor are they traditionally contacted for projects such as this.
Okay. So then it's on our website, so should we take that down? This whole committee of Nelson Cox, Randy Burley, Jennifer Brown, Jack Waddell, Chris Cheatham.
So the committee exists. The
Okay.
committee is the planning, just as council serves as the zoning board of adjustments, planning and zoning commission serves as the capital Improvement advisory committee. And so that was only reconvened at their January meeting.
So then the committee is not this committee that we appointed in 2016? It's the PNC committee?
Same name, different people. Again,
Right.
the purpose of
Okay.
the capital advisory, the CIAC, is for impact fee updates.
Yep.
It was originally needed in 2016 and then no longer needed, and is now needed again for the updates.
I don't know if they were advised of that. Okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to award the project to Faith Utilities LLC in the amount of $427,904 with 120 days to achieve final completion.
Motion by Casey, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stan. Motion's debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of item 8 as stated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. And we will approve item 8 as stated. Item 9, consideration of possible action regarding award and execution of construction contract for the Old Plantersville Road Force Main Extension Project.
So as you can see, it's been a busy time in the bid opening world on our end. The one that's in front of you currently is to serve the Redbird Meadows development. So as a reminder, they are responsible for a water line extension and a force main extension. This is the force main portion. We received bids on January 10th as well. We received 11 bidders, and the low base bid was submitted by ISJ Underground Utilities in the amount of $371,396.50 and 120 calendar days. Just as with the other bid, and we also have not received any objections at this time.
In short, we expect it to be very busy starting January, and that's what all of this is.
There's going to be a lot going on in town.
Right. Okay.
I make a motion to award the project to ISJ Underground Utilities LLC in the amount of $371,396.50 with 120 days to achieve final completion.
Motion by Casey, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stan, the motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item 9 as stated, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed, say no. We will approve item 9 as stated. Departmental reports. Item 10, utility operations report, November, December 2023.
Good evening, council. My first meeting, glad to be here for the Bright Page Utility. The reports were sent out in advance, I understand, and so you guys have them in front of you. Just going to go through January if that's okay, and just mention that on the January report, we've got 96.69% accountability. Of course, I'm estimating what we've done as far as flushing, and we're doing a significant amount of flushing. Remember the trihalomethanes episode that you guys had last year, and so we're trying to prevent that by doing a significant amount of flushing on all your dead-end mains to make sure you've got good fresh water moving through the system. You guys will move on to the report on the wastewater treatment plant side. On page number 2, at the wastewater treatment plant, we're still dealing with an ammonia issue over there. Of course, this is from the December report. We've done some pretty dramatic things over there at the sewer plant. We hauled off a pretty good bit of sludge, trying to lower the solids in the plant. And we've noticed that doing some DO analysis throughout the plant, that we've got some blower problems, that we're going to need to be doing some work on the diffusers and making sure that we've got adequate air going around. That's part of the process for how to treat ammonia. So that's part of what we're working on. Unfortunately, the freeze has not helped us. The temperature fluctuations going wildly up and down does make it very difficult on the wastewater treatment plant operations, but we feel confident that we're going to get this thing down. I really don't have much else to report. I think everything else Mike's going to cover. So that's it. You guys have any questions?
So September 23, there's 0 from the Jasper.
Yeah, Catherine brought that up. I think that's an error on the report. We got that data from previous, so that was before us. But the total permitted amounts are correct. I know that they've been dealing with Lone Star, but yeah, I think that's an error on that part.
I was actually trying to load the report. We were talking about that. I was trying to load it on my phone, the compliance report from H2O. It's such a large report I couldn't get.
Yeah, I pulled it, it was 14,668,000 gallons. I'm like, why is this 0?
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's been error transferring or something, I'm not sure. But the last 2 numbers.
Can we get it so we have it right in our records?
I can get it correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
If not, thank you very much. Item 11, Public Works Report, November, December 2023.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have the 2 monthly reports in front of you. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have on any of them. Mayor, I know you had brought up last month the possibility of splitting out the activate and deactivate service, and when we look at that, it's really, it's even, because whenever we deactivate an account because a renter moves out, we go back and we activate it. So it's just about even. The only number that's not reported on this one is the, when we do the monthly cutoff for non-payment, we don't report that number because that's all done as one work order throughout the day. The turn-offs and the turn-ons are all under one work order, so we're not completing 30 work orders in one day for virtually one action. We usually have one crew assigned to that, and they spend a good majority of the day taking care of those.
So it's 16 work orders for December. That's a little higher than normal, isn't it? Activate, yeah, just a little. All right.
Would have to answer any questions you have on either report.
Researched and removed the smell inside City Hall. Tell me about that.
Do we want to know that?
So
I've been wondering about it.
a couple of calls here and there for it, and never did pinpoint down. We think what the problem was in the janitor closet. There was a mop sink in there that the cleaning service uses. High probability that it was just a P-trap in there. It was dried up and some bleach and some water down, and we haven't had a call since.
Good, good. Thank you.
Tucked away in the closet, forgot about.
Mike, I see you hired 2 new maintenance technicians.
We did.
They in addition, or did you happen to lose some?
We lost some. So we had hired a couple before, had a couple that didn't work out. Got 2 new guys. One of them was actually the son of a guy that I went to school with, who was actually a former police officer here years ago. Another one was just a guy that applied 2 or 3 years ago and just didn't make the cut. We ended up hiring somebody else and he applied again, really wanted it. Had a really good feeling about both of these guys.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I see you met with Angelia, representative for Hills of Town Creek. Is that a home builder?
Anglia, yeah, it's a home builder.
Yes. Oh, yes. So that was over a tap issue. We had to relocate a tap.
Okay. So we must be talking about, are they going to build in a new section?
Phase 5.
That wasn't anything about that. It was just meeting the home builder to discuss moving a water tap at a house.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Item 12, sales tax report.
Right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for your time. Direct your attention to the sales and use tax allocation report. It'll be past the cover page. We have 5,511 active taxpayers. In the month of January 2024, we have 2,541 taxpayers, which is a 6% increase over January 2023, bringing your average to 2,384. And on the next page, as noted, that listed your highest so far for January 2024. So this January is now taking over up from February 2023. And then below that is your top 25 sales tax contributors, with Kroger, McCoy's, and Chick-fil-A at the top. And then you have Circle K, P&G, Lake at the bottom. And then I think it's Home Depot that's starting to climb up the ranks there. Page after that, the year January 2024, top 25. Rise collective McCoy's and Chick-fil-A again, with Popeyes and Boo TV Media at the bottom. And so the top 25 contributed 49% of your total allocations, and the top 79 contributing 1,000 or more contributed 71% of your total allocations. Page after that will be your January 2024 to December 2023 comparison. And just the usual suspects, McCoy's, Rise, and Chick-fil-A. And then you have Sheena International from December, being replaced by Popeyes and Boo for January.
Looking a little better.
The page after that will be your January 2024 comparison. And for the month of January, you received $408,207.22. That's a 22% increase over your January 2023 of $333,333.42. And so far for your budget at $1.8 million, you're at 37% of budget. And there are no new allocation averages for this calendar year, but your last calendar year, 2023, your average $411,293.12 per allocation.
So you think that's due to inflation? We're spending more money, not that people are buying more, but that just things cost more than a year ago?
It's always, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like-
okay. And that's a 22% jump, that's insignificant.
Yes, but
Things
obviously
cost
there's
more.
inflation there as well, but you're growing exponentially
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So if are you getting a Home Depot here?
Yes.
Okay. And so just to put that into perspective, Home Depot and those are your 2 top contributors for all districts. And so I believe off the top of my head, 1% for a Home Depot is about $400K a year. And so you take 2%, so you're ballparking about $800,000 just from that moving in. And there are usually strips that are attached to it, so there'll be a couple of other businesses that will come in there as well. And so that's a significant increase to have. That news from McCoy's, but it's
Such as discount tires. When discount tires,
yes,
it'll be in the
that's
top
also
5.
Top 25 for us,
Yep.
for SPs as well.
Oh, wow.
Good times coming.
So the page after that will be your monthly allocations wrapped out back to 2018, and reflecting the 408,000 allocations for January. The page after that will be your previous year by month variance, and that's reflecting the 22% increase over last year. allocations and trends. And then other than the 2020 fiscal year, you've been growing each year. And you're collecting 1.8 million so far for your fiscal year. And then the trends on the next page. And then we just have 2023. There's no new data for 2024. And then the page after that is the NAICS code index. And so I'll be driving your city again. I believe I have it on the calendar for February or March. And there are still a couple of business entities that I've been checking, a couple of retail centers in the downtown area that they still don't seem to have their sales tax ID from. They brought it from Magnolia over here. And so I'll be going ahead and reporting them in the comptroller, and I believe they'll be sent to the enforcement department from that on.
Was that a boutique that's been open for a couple of years? Or
She's operating after, and I came back again and talked to, not her because she was gone, but
Yep.
and I notified her that she needed a separate sales tax ID. The same with Ruthie Graves from Summit. They have a separate ID or location, and so they
Yep.
have a separate sales tax ID with another location number on top of that.
And just like she owns the men's shop, so that should be a separate as well.
There's I think there's 3 shops operating out of that one area.
Yeah. And so, because I know that boutique has one, the mothership is in Magnolia. We have one, there's one in downtown Navasota. So you're saying all 3 locations should have their own tax ID number? And so right now, what we can...
It'll be the same sales tax ID, but if you look below, it'll be the location code number.
Yeah.
The location code number will be
So is it safe to say we haven't been getting any of their sales tax dollars since they opened?
I don't believe so. I have to check your comptroller report again, but if they're not on your comptroller report, then they're not, so I'll be seeking money.
I was going to say, do we get, so back to my next question is how do we get those funds back? Because she's been open a while, and she's got a good business.
The comptroller, the accounts examiner is supposed to be getting back to me on that. Usually they'll send it to the enforcement after that. They're not getting any kind of leeway, and then from there, they'll go. Usually they're pretty compliant as far as when the enforcement starts to talk to them.
Thank you for staying on top of that.
Yeah.
That's all. Any questions, concerns, anything you need me to look into further when I drive your city again? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Item 13, finance reports for November and December 2023.
That's our.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You had the reports for November and December. The only thing I would point out is that we continue to have more revenue than our expenses at this time of the year. That's a very good thing. Don't have any concerns or anything to come out unless y'all have any questions.
Just thank you for making significant progress in our finances and keeping things in order. We can see a difference. Thank you. Anything else? If not, we'll go to item 14, December 2023 monthly court report.
Kimberly.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. December citations were 108. The collections was $25,091.27. I would like to extend the olive branch for you guys to come out and view how the court functions. February the 8th, we have jury trials and bench trials and pre-trials. So I'd like the council to come out and just review. I think Byron's been out before and see how chaotic it was. So you guys can come out and see.
What day is that?
February the 8th.
Yes, we have 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m.
Again, February the 8th,
Yes.
around 9 a.m.
And though it was chaotic, it was the best run chaotic thing I've ever seen in my life. So thank you for that.
See how and why we do what we do. How crazy.
Well done.
When did the amnesty thing start with the warrants?
Just a couple of weeks ago, and it runs through April, so we can help forgive some of the ones if they come in and make good faith on their past warrants.
Good, I saw that on there.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 15, December and annual 2023 Police Department and Code Enforcement Report.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. We have both our annual and our December. If you have any questions, like I'll have a couple of things for you. I'm not sure how important you know it is for goals and objectives. And just to let you know, last year we put in some goals and some objectives. One of those things was improve our performance reviews. So we changed our performance review the paperwork we get. It relates more to police officers and the job duties that they do. Also, you know, creating a team-oriented work environment. That's to get our investigators collaborating with other departments. And that came in very, very handy. I'm not sure if you guys know that here at First Financial, we had about 6 guys go in. They were cashing checks over and over again to the tune of about $16,000. Our investigator actually ran that down himself. He got with a couple guys in Houston. We found that car. He found the car over on Benson. We filed charges on 3 of those guys. So collaborating with those other departments has got at least, you know, we didn't get any of their money back, but we did put 3 of the guys. We did put warrants out on 3 of those guys. So making those goals each year and keeping these guys in training helps them to do their job better. We also put together a mentor program. We've now started to hire a couple of people that have no experience at doing this. When you've hired somebody with no experience, you have to give them a mentor to kind of guide them through what they're doing. And even with the shortage that we had this year, we still managed to get in about 1,626 training hours for the police officers here. Just wanted to talk about those things. Any questions?
12 wrecks in our little town. Was there one spot that we should be, that's the higher wreck propensity?
No, you know, we say this all the time. Most wrecks have to do with inattention, and it's a lot of that these days. People are drinking coffee, using cell phones, on their hair, putting on eyelashes.
How dare you? Hold on. Ouch, that hurt.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
I'm not through. I haven't started. I just wanted to thank you for participating with Shop with a Cop.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a worthwhile endeavor, and I appreciate your participation.
It absolutely is.
Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure for us, but it's also for the support that we got on it this year, especially from councilperson's employer. We've got a huge group. We're ready to take a whole lot of kids.
Good.
Let's spend a lot more money. Just to see those kids doing that, and then when you get a kid that goes in the store and they start buying for their family rather than for themselves, it's really good to see. So,
Yeah.
Very
thank
good.
you guys too as well.
Just for the record, Chief and I will never be guilty of combing our hair while we're driving. All right, on to item 16, engineers report.
All right, in front of you is our engineer's report for this past month, everything that's happened since December 12th. A couple of things that I'd like to point out on water plant number 2 improvements. We are proceeding with the design as we discussed back at your December 12th council meeting. We're expecting to be finished with that design in April and start submitting it to agencies. On the sanitary sewer rehab phase 1, we approved 2 pay estimates, first in the amount of $207,395.10, and the second in the amount of $221,584.50 respectively. The contractor is doing very well. Any kind of issues that have come up, they've been very attentive to, and we've not heard any significant complaints. And then there's a couple of construction photos showing the lining work that they were doing on 105, which I'm sure we're all very familiar with. Overall, the contractor's doing a great job so far. Going on to item 7 on that same list is the Old Clarersville water line. I touched on this earlier. This is also being funded by Redwood Meadows. We're working through a couple of easements from MISD as it goes right next to the stadium, not the stadium, the high school practice fields over there. So we need a couple of easements from MISD. We are expecting to wrap up with design this month. Jumping on to item 12 on here is the Buffalo Springs Drive Road reconstruction, again funded by Home Depot. We submitted the plans for that project to TxDOT back in the middle of December. We're still waiting on comments to come back. Once we receive those comments, we'll address them and start bidding the project to keep it in line with the agreements with Home Depot.
You have any idea when that'll be?
When we'll get comments back,
Yes, from TxDOT.
we're following up probably every other day, trying to get comments back, as we're definitely staying on top of it.
Yeah, keep on their toes.
Yeah, as soon as we get them back, we're ready to address them and keep it moving forward. Going to the next page, I'm going to touch on item 14. This is the Town Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant Expansion RFQ. We discussed this last time at council, so that RFQ has been posted starting today, and then proposals will be due on February 21st here at City Hall.
Catherine, I have a question about that. Because I looked at the RFQ and I did some research, and on July 25th of 2022, we authorized the application for a new plant to be permitted at capacity 0.4 MGD, all the way up to 0.8, and the RFQ is for 0.3 to 0.6.
Correct. So what has happened in between then and now is the TCEQ, so that our application for 0.4 to 0.8 was submitted. TCEQ came back and said that Town Creek is considered a compromised stream. I'm not sure exactly those exact words, but essentially what they said was we can go up to 0.3 now and then potentially 0.6, but they would not let us go up to ultimately 0.8 MGD of flow. So we are going with as much flow as we are allowed by TCEQ. So that's why there was a change from that. The permit amendment has since been revised and resubmitted to the TCEQ for a 0.3 interim and a 0.6 ultimate.
Thank you.
Going down to the plan reviews, item D I want to touch on is the Montgomery Bend Subdivision Rec Center. We provided plan approval on January 17th. MISD's CTE and Ag Complex, this is split up into two separate plans. We did receive revised plans for their earthwork today. That was this afternoon. New ones on here are the high school improvements. We got plans for the high school on January 16th, and we're working through our review on those. And then Lone Star Mart is at the corner of Buffalo Springs and Lone Star Parkway by Town Creek Crossing. It's that commercial reserve. We got those plans on January 16th as well. Those are the revised set of plans for the second round.
What are they doing at the high school?
It's just some site improvements. I think they're maybe redoing some storm sewer. I have not had a chance to really take a look at the plans in depth yet. It's not a major external overhaul. A lot of work is interior.
Just for clarification, that spot where the Lone Star Mart, Buffalo and Lone Star, the city never owned or leased any of that property, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Just so the record, so there's no misunderstanding about that. We didn't have anything to do with that. It was commercial zone property, correct?
Correct. It was platted with Town Creek Crossing Section 1 as a
The ag complex, when, I know you haven't received any revised plans back. What's the timeline for that? What is their perceived timeline?
I would expect to get civil plans back really any day now. Their earthwork plans and their civil plans have typically been traveling together in submittals, so I was actually a little surprised to not get their civil plans back today, but I expect it sometime this week.
As far as opening, I believe it was the 2025.
Fall of 2025. And tonight on their agenda is the approval of the funding for their architectural plans, but yet that hasn't been approved yet. And they've got a timeline they have to match, and they're needing us to hurry up and help out as much as possible.
Help out with what?
Well, so the civil plans, I asked Catherine, like it takes 2 weeks. When they're like, we've done this with the county, it took only 4 weeks for total turnaround. And it's been, I think they submitted the first ones in October.
So I would have
Yeah, late October. And here we are still haven't gotten approvals or
From whom?
from us.
We have to receive them first.
We did in October.
Maybe we can get
And we
clarification.
approved
Yeah.
them in October. They're on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
and they've had some light.
With the delay of the approval of the plan, much of those months from the October date that you referenced, they were asking to not build a public water line.
That's
like
right.
every other developer would. So we are reviewing as fast as we can, but when they show plans that don't have a water line, where there's vital, has to be a water line, that does add to that amount of delay. Since the plans that these guys are looking at now do show the water line where it is, which is why it's moving the way it is now. So
Well, yeah, so my understanding is there was a meeting, Catherine, with you, and then the next day, there was a meeting about the water line, and they're willing to make it from an 8-inch to a 12-inch, and then take it all the way to the street. It was a compromise, I guess, and you said that sounded good, and that you were in agreement of that, but they haven't heard anything else. So,
I don't recall necessarily agreeing or.
well, that was not your meeting, that was Dave's meeting the next day.
May not have been in any meeting that our engineers.
No, you were, I said, that she met the one day and then you went in the next day. You met with Chris Lynn. And so he,
As far as the water line alignment goes, we're still working with them on that. Something that's going to be workable both for their site and for the city. We don't want to compromise what the city needs when this property is being developed, but we also want to be mindful of what MISD is going to be needing for their site as well. So I don't think we're at a final alignment for the water line by any means. We're definitely still working through it with them, but we're keeping the process moving forward as quickly as we can on our end.
Yeah, so if I remember right now, they didn't want to build it all the way to the other side. They just wanted to stop midway and say,
no,
with everybody else.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't want to approve that anyways.
no, but they said now that they'll go bigger and go to the street.
But how long did that take them to agree to?
When was your meeting with them?
No idea.
I can get that. I'll let you know.
Originally, the request was, and this goes back to our first pre-development meeting with MISD, is that they would take the water line, there's a stub out at Town Creek Crossing, and in the middle there's that stub out street. That they would take the water line from that point all the way to their western property boundary. And that's the point of disagreement that we're having. They're willing to take it down to Lone Star Parkway, but not across the property to get to the western property line.
Which is what we require from every other developer.
And it was, so with this one,
So play ball or go away.
Or ask for a variance like everybody else.
Well, if we ask every other developer to go across their lot, and the school comes to us and wants special treatment, for what reason? Go across your lot.
Well, but they can also ask too. I mean, like others have asked for, like
But
last
they
time
haven't.
about, but they did.
I haven't seen anything
No, they haven't
in front
been
of
here.
us.
You're right. They talked to staff. They're
A
right.
couple other facets of that water line. Originally, this property was supposed to be Town Creek Crossing Section 2. And when Section 2 went, the water line would naturally be extended all the way to the western property boundary. Since it's no longer being developed with Section 2, we make sure to bring that up in the pre-development meeting. This is still a need that the city has, and it still needs to be completed.
Definitely needs to have a conversation to get a fix. And I know that they're anxious to move forward. So I think they're frustrated with us. And so whatever we can do to get that moving forward would be highly appreciated, especially since they approved funds for their architectural tonight.
So my opinion on this is that if we demand it from everybody else, then we demand it from them. And if that's the holdup, that's their fault.
We do
there's
appreciate you
more
working for the best interest of the city. That's what you're supposed to do, so thank you for that. All right, what is next?
We will keep on it. Going down to the plat reviews, a new one on here is Hills of Town Creek Section 5. So this project went on hold for a year and a half or so, give or take. We did receive a plat for this back on December 20th and provided some comments. We got a revised plat back last week, and we're working through our review. This is for a final 73 lots and completion of Emma's Way out to Lone Star Parkway. Going over to the next page of ongoing construction, a lot of this is, really all of them are out at Montgomery Bend. Their lift station is expected to be online, are ready to go in the next 30 days. They did complete a tie-in to FM 1097 for Section 1, and then as soon as the lift station is online, we'll do a final walkthrough of their sanitary, paving, and drainage for their final inspection for that one. And then they are also working on construction on Section 2 at the same time. Jumping ahead to the next page in our general section, items 5 and 6 at Lone Star Parkway and Buffalo Springs. Montgomery County was going through some delays from Entergy. They were having a hard time getting power worked out. That has since been worked out. They have the signaling equipment and they are expecting to begin construction. Don't expect any time now, but with the rain, I'm sure that's not happening this week. And then, as y'all are all very aware, the roadway improvements are essentially complete. And that's all that I have to do.
Do you happen to know the price point for that Phase 573 homes? Just a rough estimate, what they expect those homes to be in that phase? Either one of you have an idea?
I believe it's right in line with what's in Section 4. Section 3 and 4.
Okay.
They're not planning on really changing the...
So it's going to flow pretty much like that Phase 4?
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Catherine, I'm looking at the map, the MISD CTE Ag Barn map, and there's nothing to the west of that property to be developed. It's all wetland. So would the water still need to go to the west side, even though there's nothing to connect on that side?
It would, and the reason being is it's part of a greater loop along Lone Star Parkway. So while, yes, right next to them is Town Creek, we have to think on the other side of Town Creek also connecting to Pleasant Morgan and then ultimately closing what is a large loop for the city.
So like the Grand Monarch Apartments, they have it, could we not tie into there and then go, there's not much left, I guess, on that corner, that northwest corner
So
of Pleasant?
Grand Monarch doesn't actually have any frontage on Lone Star Parkway. And so they get their water from a water line along Pleasant Morgan. And so,
I guess I said we could tie into them to come to,
No,
no?
no, because that's
we wouldn't be able
it's a
to tie
line.
into them to get to the CPE building.
So the loop is a feed line,
Yeah.
right? It's
Oh,
large.
gotcha.
So the line that's coming into apartment buildings is not going to be a large line.
okay.
It's going to be enough to feed those apartment buildings. But the whole thing is that just like everybody else, put the thing in.
Yep. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. Item 17, City Administrator.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to take this opportunity to give you an update on some of the priorities we talked about and identified over the summertime. So it's in your packets, and I'll just hit these real quick. First one, develop strategies for interagency collaboration. So we commissioned, the council commissioned the Transportation Advisory Committee. We held a kickoff meeting, the first meeting in December. The next meeting is going to be on February 2nd. I think that committee is going to be very successful in helping us work through some of these transportation issues. Dave, the mayor, and I hosted HGAC on a city tour at lunch at Montgomery Steakhouse. Thought that was a great opportunity for us to get with them and hear some of their ideas and some of their strategies that we can try to partner up on. I am now holding office hours in the community building every first Friday of the month from 10 to noon. Just to make myself available downtown, go down and start working with some of the businesses down there and some of their issues and priorities. Economic Development Director position, so it's open until filled. We're currently interviewing candidates. We have 3 candidates right now that we're looking at bringing in for in-person interviews with a panel made up of myself, Dave, and some EDC members, maybe next week. But we'd like to, if we're successful in finding a candidate out there, we'd like to bring that candidate forward early February, negotiate with that candidate in early February. So the zoning ordinance recodification, future land use, small area master plan priority, which is, to me, the #1 priority we have. We interviewed firms for that. We did an RFQ, got 2 good responses, interviewed those 2 firms. I think we have a good firm that we're going to work with. We haven't made a decision yet, but we still need to develop a scope of work. So with this weekend, we got our joint workshop with the Planning Commission and MEDC, Economic Development Corporation. And I'd like to use that forum a little bit to try to work on the scope of work and understand what every one of those priorities of those bodies are. So I can try to incorporate that in the scope of work and maybe get a little better understanding, put out to them what this process looks like. So we anticipate developing that scope of work in the next couple of weeks, and I'd like to have a contract before you guys sometime in February. And I think that's very doable. The last item is the move of the PD court, and the chief and I have been working for the past couple of months with primarily the chief, but working with a private developer off of Lone Star Parkway. We think we have a pretty viable alternative that we would like to pitch to y'all individually. So I'm going to reach out to you this week, set up those meetings, and then of course have a joint workshop with everybody at some point if we get positive feedback on that. And again, just a reminder, we have that workshop 10 o'clock Saturday at the community building, and that's all I have tonight.
Gary, I'm especially excited about and appreciate the zoning ordinance recodification, future land use that you were about 2 weeks ahead of when I asked you about it. So I appreciate you getting ahead of that, because that's critical for, we made this comment, we want to grow, but we want to go smart, right? We have X amount of grass space, we want to protect it, get the right amount of economic return, and staying within the budget to do it. So that's exciting for the city. All right, with that, entertain a motion to approve items 10 through 7, departmental reports.
Gary, do we have anybody to come here to use this as a warming center? Curious.
How many were here?
Did anybody come?
We had about 2 people.
Okay.
That was about it. We stayed open a while. We spoke with the hospital emergency system, and they thought it might have to become a shelter. We told them we weren't prepared for that.
No.
They said they would help if we needed that. But we had about 2 people come in.
Okay.
Okay.
So, pretty fair that pretty good.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the departmental reports as presented.
Motion by Sarah, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Stan, the motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of approving the departmental reports, items 10 through 17, say yes.
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 Anyone
Yes.
opposed, say no. And we'll approve the departmental reports. Executive session, we have no session planned, correct? Okay. Council inquiry.
We have a crawfish place that's about to open up that has no parking, and I haven't seen a variance come. Are we addressing that, or what's our plans?
I don't think we have the ability to address that just because of the past history with that property. No parking.
Does he have his occupancy already, Gary? Do you know?
I don't know if he's going to see it.
He's hosting people there, huh? He's hosting.
From what I understand, I guess there was property transfer between the quarter property and the crawfish property at some point, so they basically bought the parking lot.
Yep.
And left that building non-conforming.
Yeah.
It's a tangled history of a mess out there, but I don't even think we need to get involved.
Okay.
So Caleb, from your opinion, I see you thinking, so what's your opinion?
I need to know the facts. Gary's speaking.
Yeah, I'll brief you on it tomorrow.
See what's going on.
Anything else? Okay, this past Friday, Sarah and myself and Stan were going to the HGAC, kind of wrap up summative, kind of a highfalutin, if you will, thing, presentation of the year that HGAC had, a presentation of holistically what does the organization do, how can they help cities in varieties of ways, and it was really well done, really well presented. We met some people, I think Stan, what they say, had 153 there. They represent 13 counties, how many cities? 13 counties.
I think it's like 113 or something like that.
Yeah, and then even school districts are represented in that organization. And so obviously they would probably be the larger school districts. But anyway, it was a really nice time. Sarah had a family emergency, wasn't able to go. But I also did follow through with nominating Sarah to serve on the board. Stan would be a backup, but I don't know when those elections happen, but it would be very helpful to have a city council representative. And so that's in the works. I can't promise you it'll happen, but we have followed through with that. And Gary is correct. I think there would be great benefits from Transportation Committee staying on top of things like that light and other priorities that we have for us. If you don't stay ahead of TxDOT, you're light years behind. So I look forward to what that committee, and thank you for Stan and Sarah's willingness to serve on that. With that, anything else? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any objections? If not, it is 7:04 and we are adjourned.